Welcome back, and you're still watching Newsnight, reaching you from Nigeria's capital in Abuja. I'm Christian.
And I am Amaka Ude-Walker. Well, let's take a look at some stories now. A non-profit organization, Jela's Development Initiative, supported by Lillian Funds through the Leprosy Mission here in Nigeria, is calling for full implementation of the National Disability Act to ensure that persons with disabilities are included in every sector of the society. Well, speaking during an advocacy walk for mental health of persons with disabilities in Abuja, Angela Otubaye, founder of the initiative, says if persons with disabilities are not included in the society, their mental health will be affected.
Walk is to create that awareness here that they matter, their mental health matters. In organizing the group therapy session that we did, we were able to listen to quite a number of challenges that they are going through that affects them. The discriminatory actions that are done by family members, by society, how they are stigmatized, it affects their mental health. And so we are saying no to stigma, no to discrimination. The 6 categories of young people with disabilities that we've been working with are those affected with albinism, the blind, the deaf, dwarfism, sickle cell warriors, and of course albinism.
It shows that 1/3 of our population are in dire need of mental health services and mental health care. We can no more sit aside and just fold our hands. It's about time we start having these conversations and then working collaboratively with agencies and organizations, development partners as well, to be able to promote the mental well-being for persons with disability and as well promote inclusion.
What we want the government to do is, if they can provide sign language interpreters everywhere, even in the public bus, they should also put a sign post. I'm talking about moving vehicle. There should be like a sign saying Mube, beggar, so I'll know which car to enter, federal secretariat and all of that. So there should be sign indication.
Okay, joining us now to speak more on how the rights of women and girls with disability can be further protected is Beatrice Mube. She's the woman leader, Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities. Very warm welcome to Newsnight.
Thank you very much.
Well, I saw some of the, struggles, challenges, for you to even get into Arise News and our studios. But let's look at some of the experiences your members are faced with, particularly in assessing sexual and reproductive health rights, and how, have they been managed, or have you managed this over the years?
Thank you very much for the question. Women and girls with disabilities face enormous challenges and barriers towards accessing sexual and reproductive health rights. In the area of structural barrier, like coming to the studio, I struggled to actually climb up this platform. And let's assume there is a hospital here that needed to come for antenatal. Of course, it's an impossible task if I'm a wheelchair user. And secondly, that structural barrier. We also face a communication barrier. Like you saw that lady signing, she's a deaf girl. And in all our hospitals, there are no presence of sign language interpreters. At the end of the day, these deaf ladies resort to quack, and as a result, we lost them in numbers. Then we talk of attitudinal barrier. The perception of the public towards women and girls with disability is derogatory. They just have this concept that a woman or a girl with disability or reproductive health had no rights being in the labor ward. Sometimes when you go to the hospital, they're like, madam, who do this thing to you? You don't get leg, person give you belly. As if you're not a human being. Any young woman of reproductive age, despite your status, you are entitled to reproductive life and reproductive health as well. Because if your health is at risk, you will end up multiplying more children with disabilities in the community. Because most of disabilities and deformity that happens to children actually start from pregnancy as a result of infection, which lead to blindness, paralysis, cerebral palsy, and all.
Right, and this is a major challenge because even the federal government is admitting that beyond even the health challenges and challenges accessing buildings, 80% of especially young girls with disabilities, don't have access to even basic education in every part of the country. This is a big challenge. But let's look at how we can find solutions. Do you believe that the implementation of the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act, as signed 2018, 2019, do you think this, if this is actually domiciled, do you think this will go very far in really protecting, you know, not just the girls, but people who are disabled in Nigeria?
Yes, the act is comprehensive enough. But if all the policies there are implemented, it will go a long way.
So where are we now as Nigeria as a whole? Where are we? So let's know who we should actually shame and who we should actually hail for doing the right thing.
Yes, I want to give credit to our President Muhammadu Buhari, who has centered this bill, because this bill is a struggle of over 3 decades. And signing it is a good thing, but implementation is the right step in the right direction.
So the implementation, what level are we? Was my question to you, especially at the state and local level, where we know that most of these young girls in particular are found?
Yeah, some states in Nigeria are yet to domesticate the Disability Act. So we're struggling for domestication first, then implementation. Though in some facets, the implementation is gradually winding up. But it has not really seen the light of day, I must be honest.
Is the media, the Nigerian media, doing enough for you when it comes to the issue of sexual and reproductive health rights for, you know, people with a plight of persons with disabilities?
Yeah,
are we doing enough?
Well, you're trying, but enough, more needs to be done, because disability issue in Nigeria, like I always tell my women, oftentimes when they're discriminated against, that you just have to take it one step at a time. And at any point you're discriminated about, stop to educate and sensitize, because it's relatively new. In the past, you find out that persons with disabilities, ordinary people feel they shouldn't be seen on the streets. Like in some parts in the West, the albinos are used for sacrifices, you can imagine. So when it comes to media, sometimes they're reporting on our issues also end up discriminating against us because of derogatory languages. Now we come out to the street to take a peaceful walk to demonstrate for one thing. The only thing you hear, you see them projecting wheelchairs, rolling the streets as if it's the wheelchair we're demonstrating. We have a message we are passing. The only thing you hear, disabled people came to the street to demonstrate for their right. That's derogatory. We don't have that disabled word in our dictionary. We are only persons with disabilities. You know, so the media too, we need to do some sensitization in the right words to use to describe persons with disabilities and when reporting our issue. And again, the media are the major tool to sell our voices, to speak for us and advocate for our rights, so that persons or the society will be informed on the need of persons with disabilities and their plight, and how we can be accepted and stop all forms of deliberate exclusion. I will stay here and say categorically here, without fear or favor, the last APC Women Convention that took place in Abuja, a good number, I'm not a politician, I'm a civil servant, a good number of my women who are card-carrying members of APC went to participate in the convention, and they were stopped. They're like, we're not doing charity here. And these are educated graduates who got job doing, who can even take care of their families and keep change. The people who are insulting them, they can take care of them and keep change. At least as I'm sitting there, I don't look hungry. You don't just walk me away and say, because I have disability, I should be a case of charity.
Exactly. An accident can happen, and of course, you might become yourself a person with disability. But you know, I want to stay on, you know, the sexual health, which Christian has actually touched on a little bit, especially as it concerns young girls and adolescents. If you look at the WHO data, 1.9 billion people in the world are young girls.
Yes.
So here in Nigeria, what more can we really do? Because yes, you have talked about the fact that there's discrimination in the labor room. Some people with disabilities get taken advantage of for one reason or another. So what would be your advice for that young girl who's watching and saying, I need help?
Yeah, ladies with disabilities need more sensitization too, because as a result of these attitudinal barriers, they are withdrawn from the society. So we need to sensitize, which we are doing on a daily basis. The lady you saw on the street are my women. We have trained them. Most victims of rape are deaf women because people felt they can't report, but they forgot that they have a language called sign language. If they are here talking to me, I understand everything they say because I can also sign. So we have trained them to speak out whenever you are abused. Whichever form you can use to report your case, don't be quiet, speak out. And we've encouraged them, and most of them are taking the bold step, coming out to the streets and reporting their issues of abuse, and we're not sleeping on it.
Fantastic. And even the Nigerian media too.
Yes,
Will not
we
sleep
are
on
here
it.
to
And you
support
continue
you.
to find your voice. Irrevocable promise from the Nigerian media.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much.